Welcome. It is Saturday afternoon in Alachua, and it's very hot. And it's what I call the India factor. We have the India factor here, the Bombay factor. It is like giving a class in Bombay in the middle of the summer. And I have air conditioning there. If I put it on here, it'll be too loud, and it's not kind of making it in here. Anyway, austerity in the service of Krishna. We accept it. Today we're going to be talking about the eighth activity of an ineffective person, which is to respond to situations as they come at you in the same way they come at you, rather than to respond according to your intelligence or according to the instructions of Shastra. So, we can respond, as most people do. They just respond kind of the same way people deal with them. They're nice, you're nice. They're upset with you, you get upset. That's kind of normal. So we're going to talk about that as an ineffectual way to respond. But first, it's time for kirtan. And I just had lunch. I came in here late, and we have to set up the keyboard. So, don't go anywhere. We're going to set up the keyboard. Stay right where you're at. Don't leave. We'll be right back. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay. So, it's the afternoon for us, which means it's time to dance. So, we'll put on a little beat so you can dance. Is that okay? You don't want to sit around all day. But I have to find the beat. How about this beat? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivara Dari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivara Dari. Sodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Sodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Sodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Sodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivara Dari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivara Dari. Shodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Shodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Shodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Shodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamana Tira Vanachari. Brahmachari Tira Brahmachari Radha Madhava Kunjavi Hari Radha Madhava Kunjavi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Hari Radha Madhava Kunjavi Hari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. One more time. Everyone, one more time. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. I feel like doing kirtan for the next hour. What do you think? Just cancel class and do kirtan? We'll do a little more. Is that okay? A little more? Just because it's a good thing to do. Chant, 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 chant. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Don't go away. Hold on. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, let's go. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Let's dance. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more time, everyone. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare. That's it. I just figured it out. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Finally, I figured out how to do it. I never played this kirtan before. So this is how it should go. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, let's do that together, now that we figured it out. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That could also be a melody for Shishastakam. What do you think? Should we try it? Without you, Lord, a moment feels like a million years or more, and tears are flowing from my eyes, just like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world without you, Lord. Feeling all vacant in the world without you, Lord. Feeling all vacant in the world without you, Lord. I'm feeling all vacant without you, Lord. Something like that. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hold on, everyone. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanandi. Hare Krishna. Okay. You want to hear a funny story? So we were doing a festival. We had a temple in San Diego, and the temple was named New Govardhan. The deities were named Giridhari, Radha Giridhari. Radha Giridhari, Radha Giridhari Radhe. Oh, I put this up so you can see Prabhupada. And what was a funny story? I totally forgot. How could I forget a funny story? What was I thinking? That proves it's too hot in here because I just forgot what I was going to say. That is not good. Or I've been sitting in front of a computer too long today. That could also be part of the problem. What was I going to say about the funny story? I completely forgot. Radha Giridhari Radha. This proves the verse of Bhagavad Gita. For me come knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. Because it's gone. And maybe Krishna didn't want me to tell you the funny story about Giridhari. What was the funny story about Radha Giridhari? I can't remember. It's amazing. For me come knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. This was Bhagavad Gita. We can call this class Bhagavad Gita Live. You've seen it right in front of you. Krishna took away my memory. I forgot what I was going to say. It's definite manifest. I have full realization of Bhagavad Gita that Krishna takes away your memory. So, if Krishna wants, he'll give it back and I'll remember the story. So, today we're going to read about the glorious faults of people who are making huge mistakes and they don't know they're making them. And we've described 7 mistakes. Last week we described the wonderful topic of stories, and how you see things subjectively determines how you react and how you feel about things. Correct? And 2 people look at the same thing, they have 2 different interpretations, and they then have 2 different reactions. And we always think how we see things is the way it is, and not necessarily. And as you grow, you realize, oh, I used to think it was like this, and now I realize it's like this. What to speak when you read Bhagavad Gita for the first time, and then this whole new world opens up, and you realize, yeah, I actually don't know a lot. Oh, I thought I knew, but I didn't. So, in the essence of what we had discussed yesterday was the essence of what we discussed, not yesterday, last week. You just hot in here otherwise. Okay, maybe I should just call class off and go to sleep. I could go, but I'm all set up here. It'd be hard. The other room's not as hot. Maybe next week we'll do the other room. We all want to see the other room. Hare Krishna. I have the air conditioning trying to blow in here, but there's sun. This is actually, my office is actually a shed that was somewhat insulated, but This room has 3 windows. And I told my wife we have a sauna. And I said, you didn't know that, but we have a free sauna. Just come in my office. So, as we were talking last week, how when you have a story, the problem is a lot of times you have a story about what's happening that's not supporting your goals, or not even supporting who you are essentially. And the stories kind of define I never could do this, or I can do that. Some stories are good, I can do this. Some stories are not good, I could never do this. Of course, sometimes it's true, I could never do something. It would be foolish to think I could if I could never, but sometimes I can, and I think I can never. And so we have sometimes contradictory stories. My heart wants to do something, but inside I think, well, it's never going to happen. Or I don't have the karma for it, or whatever. So aligning your stories. I think also it's important to find out what's really your dharma and your inspiration. It's easier to align your stories with what is actually you. You tend to be more confident about what you're good at. But sometimes I find people are good at things and they don't think they are, and that's unfortunate. They have the story that I'm not good at it, and their friends will say, what are you talking about? You're really good at that. No, I'm not good. I'm not so good. Because they're looking at like an all-star, like the top 10 in the universe who do that. And so compared to them, they think I'm not good. But compared to the other 8 billion people, minus those 10, they're good. So that's what we talked about last week. And this week, Sundari Radha, are you here? Can you put up this week's, or maybe you already put it up? Chant, 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 and when you finish chanting, keep chanting. I don't see Sundari Radha. Are you there? Anyway, it's not a long thought. It's a very simple thought. Okay, here it is. Number 8. Drum roll, please, for number 8. Make that a little. Number 8 of ineffective behavior. You respond to situations with the same negative energy that is thrown at you. I'm talking here about negative energy. You know, something negative is thrown at you. Jealousy, envy, anger, hatred, criticism, blasphemy, whatever it is, it's thrown at you like a mud pie. And you pick up another mud pie and you throw it back. So let's see what I say. A little explanation. If people don't treat you well, treat them well. Live in your own security, integrity, and connection with your higher self. So I believe this was actually written for people who are not practicing Krishna consciousness, so the wording was a little maybe accessible to them. So what I mean is that, okay, let's look at, let's just take Bhagavad Gita. Let's look at Bhagavad Gita. What is Bhagavad Gita doing or trying to do? It's trying to get us to understand certain things, and then, based on that understanding, to act in certain ways. And specifically, and I think we've discussed this before, if you look at Shastra, you can say it's or what Prabhupada's trying to do is move us into Sattva Gun, the mode of goodness. And I think we talked about that last week, and we talked about it other times. From Sattva Gun, you're ideally situated to cultivate Krishna consciousness. It's like Sattva Gun is like the prep school to get you into the Krishna conscious university. It's like if you go to this prep school, you're going to get in the best Krishna conscious university, right? So it's like a prep school. If you're trying to get in an excellent university and you go to a school where it's a very poor part of the city, they don't have good teachers, nobody excels in that school, that's going to be hard. That would be like the modes of nature. And so Sattva Gun is like the prep school. If you go to this school, pretty much, you can go to Oxford, Harvard, Yale, whatever your university of choice is, you'll make it. So Prabhupada's trying to help us graduate from these lower modes of nature, tamas and rajas, into goodness. And so If you look at this statement from the perspective of goodness, then once you're in goodness, it's kind of like a secure position from the influence of passion and ignorance. Not entirely, but fairly secure. So people can throw their mud pies of passion and mud pies of ignorance at you, but you won't leave your position of sattva or transcendence. We'll just say sattva for now. You won't leave that position to come down to their position, because their behavior is like the carrot to bring you down. You want to retaliate. Justice must be done here. I was mistreated, so now I have the right to mistreat this person. That's the thinking. If they've done something to me which is wrong, I now have the right to act in the same way they acted. Have you ever done that before? Have you ever thought like that before? We all have done that and thought like that. It's like, look, you have no right to treat me this way. Now I have a right to treat you the way you treated me. That's material life. That's material consciousness. That's the way the world works, right? It seems justifiable. This person deserves to be treated the way they treated me. There's nothing wrong with that. It's totally normal. Everybody does it. Okay, everybody may do it, but a devotee doesn't do that. Someone who wants to progress spiritually does not do that. That's a trap. That's a carrot. That's a wrong way of thinking. It's a rationale. And we know this idea. Someone is nudging you, right? Maybe they're being critical or sarcastic, or they're obnoxiously arguing about something and making very, very illogical arguments. And they're kind of like just a thorn in the side, as we say. And so there's this tendency to react, kind of with the same energy that they're putting on you, right? Isn't it? And so this is real life. Real life 101. This happens all the time, doesn't it? You ever drive down the road and get cut off by someone? Cuts right in front of you. And then you start chanting some mantras, which I will not repeat here, because there may be children in the audience. We can't repeat the mantras you were chanting. You know what I mean? So like, look at that person deserves whatever I said. He earned it. He deserves it. All the horn honking, he deserves it. Yeah, okay, maybe he deserves it. But what did that do? It just, you were up here, hopefully, and that incident just brought you down here. Has that ever happened to you? Yes, it happens. Okay. So, we're trying to be Krishna conscious. The first thing, I don't want to say the first thing, but one very important thing in being Krishna conscious is to begin acting the way Krishna desires us to act, and not justifying actions which are not Krishna conscious because of the way we were treated. And this is so easy to do. It's so common. And it is the hallmark, the branding of unsuccessful people, and the branding of a devotee who is not doing well and not understanding Krishna consciousness, allowing himself or herself to be overcome by anger or intolerance, whatever it is, impatience, whatever, because of that same energy is coming at them. Now, I was with a devotee. We were in a situation. And the situation was one of those situations where if it were planned out better, we wouldn't have been in that situation. And the situation ended up that we were going to get somewhere very late, very hungry, and maybe 3-4 hours in traffic could have been avoided, but there was some misunderstanding, miscommunication, and so forth. So, for lack of a better word, he was losing it. No, he wasn't losing it. He lost it. He just lost it and just started practically screaming about how stupid the planning was, and just let me out of the van, and I'll just take a train, and whatever, I'll go back home, or like. And so I was watching him, and he'd probably been a devotee for, let me see, 20 years at least. Over 20 years, as far as I know. And I'm watching him and thinking, Prabhu, do you realize what you're doing right now? You are doing everything that Krishna tells you not to do. And he's going on and on for like 20 minutes. And thinking, after 20 minutes of that, you haven't realized that for the last 20 years, you've been taught not to do that. Have you been there before? Have you done that? Isn't that interesting? That you can rant and rave and go on 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, maybe days, in acting in a way that is diametrically opposed to everything Krishna teaches in Bhagavad Gita. Is that interesting? You find that interesting? I find it not only interesting, but I find it worrisome. Because this is very common. So, how do we deal with this? What do we do about it? Well, first we understand, number one, there's no excuse for misbehavior. But he hit me. And so you hit back harder. Well, he deserved it. No. He criticizes me. So it's okay to criticize him. Okay, it's fine. As long as you're willing to take the offenses and, destroy yourself with offenses. But at least when you see Yamaraj, okay, you're not going to see Yamaraj, you're a devotee. All right. Let's pretend you're not a devotee. So someone has misbehaved, you're going to misbehave back, and then when Yamaraj comes, the Yamadutas come, they say, well, on the book here it says you did this. Yeah, but he hit me first. And the Yamadutas say, yeah, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you did, not what he did. What he did is, we'll take care of him later. We're taking care of you now, and you did this. That's the problem. Trying to justify misbehavior because of the actions of others. Now, there's another interesting phenomenon perhaps you've seen. Justifying misbehavior by the misbehavior of others that's not directed at us. It's just general misbehavior. And the mantra for that is, well, everybody does it. Or the other misbehavior is that nobody does what they should and everybody does what they shouldn't. So when you don't do what you should, you say, nobody does it. When everybody does the wrong thing, then you say, everybody does it. And that way, you get to do something which isn't Krishna conscious with the excuse, well, everybody does it or everybody doesn't do it. That's another example of reacting according to the actions of others rather than reacting according to the behavior, the guidelines, the qualities, the characteristics of a Vaishnava. That's what we're trying to do. Now, here's the problem. The world is always going to tempt you to act like an ordinary person. That's the way the world is created. It's always tempting us to act like an ordinary person. And then the problem gets bigger. And we discussed this in our forgiveness course. And some of you have heard me talk about this. The problem gets bigger when I think, but I'm a devotee, so it's okay to act like that. This person's a non-devotee. They yelled at me. It's okay to yell at them. Well, maybe in some cases, if they're offending Krishna. But let's assume they're not offending Krishna. They're just offending you. I think, okay, well, it's okay for me to yell at them. No. I'm a devotee. It's okay. I'm a devotee. It's okay. Not okay. Hold on a second. It's time for a little more light. I am a devotee. Therefore, whatever I do is okay. Big trap. Have you been there and done that? Even if you don't think you have, you probably have. It's like I'm a devotee is kind of like, why did you do that, Prabhu? Well, it's okay, I'm a devotee. It's the mantra. I'm a devotee, we can kind of do anything and get away with it because, after all, it's for Krishna. My life is for Krishna. Yeah. So that's very dangerous. So, as with any challenge, as with any problem, step one is recognition. Until we recognize what's going on, we can't solve the problem. Just today, I was looking. The devotee wanted to find a picture of me with Prabhupada where Prabhupada was laughing, so I had to go on Google and I typed in Mahatma Das and Srila Prabhupada, and then the picture came up. But also other pictures, because my name was there. Also, other pictures came up with little statements. These were from the Ritvix of Mahatma Das exposed and some other funny stuff. Kind of, fairy tale type stuff. And it was just so interesting to read it because they were trying to criticize me, but they weren't saying anything bad. But they were trying to say, and in conclusion, this is bad. But they couldn't say anything bad because I'm not that bad. I don't do anything that bad that's newsworthy. Maybe I got up late this morning, but that's not newsworthy. So I was looking at this and I was thinking, some people, if they looked at this, and people making up these lies about them, fabricating stories, they would be really angry, and they'd want to retaliate. And I was looking at this, and I know the devotee who writes it. The problem was I made him a devotee. But I know this devotee, and I was reading it, and I was kind of laughing at it. I think this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And I thought, this is good. This is good. Because today, I got to practice what I'm teaching in the class. I look at it. I don't get on the internet and try to expose him and expose their ideas and so forth. Although occasionally I do talk about Ritvix, but not personal attacks. Just a philosophy. So I thought, oh, this is good. I've learned something over the years that however we're treated, we live within the integrity of our own values, and that way we respond. We don't pull out the same weapons that we're attacked with. We pull out sattvic weapons. So that's the quality and the characteristic of a person who is successful. And the quality and characteristic of a person who's not successful is they tend to respond according to the way people deal with them. People are nice, you're nice. People are not nice, you're not nice. Yes? Yes? Say yes! Say yes! I like Zoom better because then you can say yes. On Facebook, I can't hear you. You would think Facebook would figure out how to be able to hear you? Wouldn't you? They would figure that out? Yeah. Okay. So, right now, I want to stop because this subject I have spoken about at length. And I think many of you have heard this. So I'm going to stop for a moment to see if you have any questions, because we normally have questions for 40 minutes, and I always have to end class. So I'm going to start questions early. I know I didn't say a lot, but I think you understand this point. Now, every time you react to a situation in the wrong way because of how somebody dealt with you, or just because of the material situation, then maybe you can remember this class and say, right now, I'm taking on this negative energy of this person and I'm now throwing that negative energy back, rather than taking on that negative energy and just letting it bounce off and remaining within my own integrity. This is so difficult to do if you're not Krishna conscious. It's so difficult, and it's so important, and it's so necessary. I remember once I was in class and I said something that someone took exception to. They took it as a racial, kind of a racial criticism. It wasn't intended that way, but I understand why they took it that way. In the question and answer session, they said, I take exception to what you said. It was pretty heavy. And, the natural gut reaction is, well, I don't care what you think, or who are you, or that's just your idea. That's the material reaction, right? But I had trained myself. I had been working on this, and I trained myself not to react that way. Even though the feelings were there a little bit, what was amazing was those feelings just subsided, and I allowed my Krishna consciousness to respond. And I said, you're right, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. And that was the right thing to say. But when we feel attacked, have you ever been attacked? It was a kind of an attack. I know he wasn't attacking, but it was an attack on what I said, and it was pretty strong. How do you feel when you're attacked? To defend yourself and attack back, isn't it? It's not Krishna conscious. And we have so many examples in Shastra of devotees being attacked, but not attacking back. So, life is like everywhere in life, we're being attacked. And so everywhere we have a chance to practice this principle. And if we fail, then like Prabhupada said, he said, what's the difference between you and an ordinary person? That would make a good song, right? You're a devotee, and we ask you, what's the difference between you and an ordinary person? And you'll say, well, I chant Hare Krishna, and they don't. Well, maybe they sing Hail Mary. I'm vegetarian and they're not. No, there's lots of vegetarians and vegans. Well, I don't smoke or drink. Lots of people don't smoke or drink. What is the difference between you and an ordinary person? Well, ordinary persons are not sense-controlled, and that means emotionally they're not controlled either. Their tongues are not controlled, and that's why Nectar of Instruction talks about to be situated as a spiritual master, you have to control what you say. If you feel one way, but you don't act it, you don't say it. So this is the challenge. When we're being attacked, criticized, ridiculed, put down, made fun of, how do we respond? The tendency is to respond like an ordinary person. And if we respond like an ordinary person, then I believe we should ask ourselves this question. What is the difference between you and an ordinary person? And not you. What is the difference between me and an ordinary person? Just now I acted in a particular way, so what's the difference? I just acted like everyone else would act. What is the difference? And the answer is, right now, no difference. Now, you could say, if you're really honest, well, the difference between me and an ordinary person is a lot of ordinary people would have reacted better than I did. Hare Krishna. It's true, isn't it? Have you seen that before? Sometimes a non-devotee is in a difficult situation, and you're thinking, if I were in that situation, I would have gotten really angry, and they're very calm. So sometimes the answer to the question is, what's the difference between you and an ordinary person? The answer might be, they're more sense-controlled than I am, some of them. So this is the question. From today's class, this is the question we ask ourselves. What's the difference between you and an ordinary person? And now it's time for a song. And the name of the song is, what's the difference between you and an ordinary person? What's the difference between you and an ordinary person? It doesn't work for a song. What's the difference between you and everybody else? react differently? That's the question for today's class, to ask yourself. Okay. All right, right now, I would like you to think of a situation in which you reacted in a very un-Krishna conscious way, and you wish you could just kind of go into the video editor of the past and kind of just split it and take it out. Like, I wish that never would have happened. Think of something. Reflect on that. Something you did, something you said, that was in response to negative energy that was given to you. And that in reflection you wish you never did. You can think of more than one, but at least think of one. And this is what we're talking about. You know many times you've done that. And so don't think, because I'm a devotee and I chant Hare Krishna, it's okay to do that. It's not okay. No, but Prabhu, I distribute lots of books. It must be okay. It must be okay that I can do that because I distribute lots of books. No, it's not okay. Sorry to tell you, even though you distribute lots of books, misbehavior, misconduct is not okay. It's not okay to respond. Okay. Now I've got you all completely depressed, thinking about how you failed. This is where it starts. You have to know the problem, and you have to know how the problem affects you. Then you can start dealing with it. Right? You agree? Okay. Do you agree? Thank you. Okay. Too much light. Too much light. Okay. Much better. Someone give me an example of how they failed. Put something in text. How did you fail? What happened and how you failed? Then we can analyze it, tear it apart, find out what mode of nature it's in. How you could have reacted. And usually we figure out how we could have reacted like after we misbehave, isn't it? Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have said this. I should have said that. All right. How many sections of your life would you just like to slice and throw in the trash can so they never existed? Probably a lot, right? And so now we want to live a life where we don't have to splice anymore. We want to live a life that's clean. First take is perfect. No, cut that scene. I didn't act properly. Cut that out. Trash it. Clip that from the video editor. We don't want to live a life like that. We're constantly regretting our behavior, wishing we hadn't acted that way. Of course, now you're saying, but it's so difficult to act that way. Yeah, okay. I'll acknowledge it's difficult. But just because it's difficult doesn't mean that we don't do it, or we don't try to do it, or we don't exert our best efforts. So don't ever think, try not to think that there's a rationale that if something's difficult, I can kind of not do it, because after all, it's difficult. And if it's difficult, you really can't be expected to do it well. So because it's difficult, then, I just kind of accept that I've failed. Don't think like that. Difficult is not a reason for failing. Difficult just means you have to work harder. Look at this example. So, when I was young, I used to ride my bike all day, everywhere, like teenager, like 10, 12, 10's not teenager, that early teens, 10, 12, 13, 14, just riding bikes everywhere. And I lived at the bottom of a hill. So my street was like this. Here's is my street, and then the other streets came down. So if you go to the end of my street, then you can go up the hills. And what do you do when you're riding your bike when you see the hill? Do you look at the hill and say, oh, there's a hill, and just like slow down, put on the brakes, and just cry. Is that what you do? No. You see the hill, and what do? You pedal harder while you're on a level ground, right? Yes or yes? You pedal harder while you're on the level ground, correct? And then you pedal harder, you see the hill, get your speed up, get your momentum up, pedal. And then you go up the hill. So that's how we're supposed to deal with difficulties. When we see them coming, we think, oh, here's difficulty. I'm going to have to put more work into this. I'm going to have to put more energy into this. Rather than think, oh, difficulty, put on the brakes, give up. Those are basically the two ways people respond to difficulty. And so Prabhupada would always tell us, if we try to make some excuse or there was some difficulty, he would always say, well, why would you give in to the difficulty? In other words, it's like, I'm hungry. I'm really, really hungry. And then I tell you, it's so much trouble to cook. If I go shopping, then I have to cook. And then I'd be thinking, but you're starving. So I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? You're not going to eat? So Prabhupada was like that. So it's like, but Prabhupada is difficult. And it's like saying, I'm hungry, and it's such a hassle to cook. And so you would just say, so what? You have to do it. So that was Prabhupada's attitude, that Krishna consciousness has to be done. So if someone said, so hard, so difficult, Prabhupada's response would just be like, so why will you give in to the difficulty? It doesn't make any sense. You want to be Krishna conscious. It doesn't make any sense, right? I have a feeling I am not seeing everybody's comments. Just a feeling, I don't know. Is it true? Is it true? Because usually by this time we have 463 comments and questions. And the day that I want the most comments and questions, I have a hard time looking up the comments and questions. And the day I want the most comments and questions, there aren't any. Da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh yeah, Vijayatma said, yeah. We used to do kirtans like that at the mall. Okay. All right. So I'll tell you a story. So there was a devotee, and he was having trouble following the regulative principles. And he was a nice devotee, a nice person. He was liked by a lot of devotees, and so devotees told Prabhupada, is that so-and-so is sincere, but he's having trouble following the principles. And so Prabhupada was very, very heavy about following. And he said, no, you promised you must follow. But they felt that this devotee was sincere, but they felt he was just weak. So I said, Srila Prabhupada, he's sincere, but he's weak. In other words, he's weak, so he's having trouble following. And Prabhupada said, why are you giving into weakness? It was like, why are you looking for an excuse for not following? It's like, if you want to be Krishna conscious, then whatever the obstacle is, why are you giving into it? It doesn't make any sense. That was Prabhupada's point. So, trying to respond in a Krishna conscious way in every situation is difficult. It's a sign of a very advanced devotee, very controlled devotee. Very difficult. But if I say I can't do it or it's too difficult or whatever the reason may be, then think of Prabhupada's response. Why are you giving in to weakness? This is my weakness. Oh, Prabhu, this is my weakness. And Prabhupada saying, so why are you giving in to weakness? So when you say, this is my weakness, what does that mean? It's like a justification. You know, this is my weakness. This is what I do. This is what I can't do. This is my weakness. And Prabhupada, why are you giving in to weakness? Just think about that. What is Prabhupada saying? It's almost like he's saying, your thinking is not straight. You want to be Krishna conscious. So why would you give in to anything that's taking you away from being Krishna conscious? It doesn't make any sense. So any obstacle that would be presented to Prabhupada, say, oh, this devotee can't do this because he is blank. And whatever the blank is, Prabhupada would say, why are you giving in to blank? Because he tends to be lazy. Why are you giving in to laziness? Because he has a difficult time controlling his anger. Why are you giving in to your anger? Like Prabhupada's point is, whatever it is, whatever the challenge is, why are you giving into it? What's wrong with you? Why aren't you working on this? Why aren't you controlling it? Why aren't you overcoming it? Why are you using it as an excuse to not be what you can be, what you should be? Right? Does that make sense? Raise your hand if that makes sense. Give me an applause if that makes sense. Let me know you're still there, listening, alive and well. Yeah. So that's the idea. So that's something you can ask yourself. When you're having a challenge and you feel powerless in the face of that challenge, then you can ask yourself, why? Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go on my Facebook page. If I go on my Facebook page, I think I'm going to see comments that aren't there. This happened before. Let's see what happens. Hold on, everyone. I have a feeling I'm not seeing all your comments. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. So I have to go on my professional page and see comments. See my live stream, see if I can see it. The internet has been very slow here. Okay. Live. It says live. If I hit live, what happens? Let's hit live. Super slow. Just relax, everyone. I hit live. It's coming up. Happening now. Okay. Now, where are the comments? I see. But I don't see the comments. I think I'm seeing. Tell me, why am I not seeing the comments? Where the God of comments is not showing up. I'm going to go to full screen. I don't see the comments. This is not fair. This is not fair. I think I'm seeing. Strange. Last time I did this, we saw the comments. I've been defeated. Settings. Oh well. I think I'm missing your comments. Okay. Because by now there would be questions. Hare Krishna. So, okay, I'm going to go to my messenger. I'm going to look at my messages. So have to go back. And if you have a question, send it to Messenger. And then I can see it there. Okay, what I have to do is Messenger. Da-da-da-da. Okay, I'm on Messenger. If you have any questions for today's class, send me a message. Okay, so I am going to we're going to sit here and look at me, wait for your comments and messages to come up. Okay, so we have given many classes about alignment. Alignment means you take the instruction of Scripture, you look at your life, and you see where they coincide, and you see where they don't coincide. Katie is okay. Katie said something. Yeah, there's her question. Everybody's seeing it but me. No, that's something else. That's a personal problem. Okay. So we talked about this idea of alignment. Okay, Krishna Karshani. Okay, let's go down. If we don't respond when we are attacked, some people seeing it may take advantage of our humility and tolerance. Yeah, sometimes it happens. Some people may do that, but every situation is different. This is a general principle. So let's say the general principle is to act completely sattvic all the time. Now, we don't want people to take advantage. We don't want people to exploit us, because we have to maintain our own consciousness and we have to maintain our service. But sometimes maintaining our own integrity will be a higher principle. And some people want to exploit us. That's their prerogative. They'll do it. So, it depends on the situation. There's more comments. Amrita Radhika. In the case of someone criticizing you being a devotee and directly criticizing Krishna, how would you handle that? Yeah. Depends who they are, what your relationship is with them. If it was someone on the street, I would just politely excuse myself. I recently got attacked by a Seventh-day Adventist who was fired up, trying to preach to me. My immediate response was, we need to agree to disagree, because he was passionate and angry. But then he said Krishna is a lesser God and I won't be saved. At that point I got angry. I ended up walking away because I didn't know, because I knew I would have escalated if I didn't. Yeah, that's good. So my question is, when someone, this is quite common. No, I just lost it. I can't. Oh my God, today's a bad day. No, oh yeah. My question is, when someone who has their own religious path starts criticizing Krishna, how best to respond? The man is my client, so I need to keep the peace. Just say, I don't know. Just tell them, you're absolutely right, but I can't do what you're saying. I always tell them, look, you want to convince somebody, you want to find a candidate, I'm not the one. I'm really not the one you want. You're really wasting your time with me. Why don't you find some people who want to hear? So I have so many realizations from this process. I've benefited so much from this process. So, okay, now, can you still see me? Because I think I just kind of lost. Okay, we're back. Haribol. So Davina says, when we don't respond when all we are getting is negativity thrown at us, what if we try to tolerate it so much that what ends up happening is that we hold back on the emotions we feel and then we kill somebody? No, she didn't say that. Then it comes out even worse. When we try to communicate it with them, it comes out even worse. Yeah. Ending up in a raging argument. And especially if these criticisms is from those very close to you. Yes, I understand this very well. Totally understand. I think what we're talking about here is balancing. Well, first what we're talking about here is understanding the tattva, the philosophy, which is what I explained. And then from there, we're trying to understand its practical application in real life. So it is true. If we don't express ourselves, we can have pent-up emotions that come out and explode in very unfavorable ways. So I think the resolution of this problem is that in a very sattvic way you try to deal with the criticisms, either by discussing with a person that this is not helping me but it's hurting me. And if they won't listen, or for whatever reason they think you're deserving of this criticism, then try to process it from a Krishna conscious point of view so all this negativity won't build up. And so one Krishna conscious way to process it is just that this is, these are my family members in this lifetime, and this is what Krishna has put me in, and it's a challenge. I read this story. This devotee was, I guess, the disciple of Radhanath Swami, was telling him, or maybe it was a her, about how much pain and suffering and difficulty she was going through in her family. I believe it was because of her mother-in-law, the notorious Indian mother-in-law. Dun, dun, dun. Maybe we should make a TV show, The Adventures of the Indian Mother-in-Law. I think it was something like that. And this devotee was really distraught. And Maharaj was listening, and he started laughing, and he said, "You are so fortunate Krishna sent you such a mother-in-law." And he was just laughing and laughing, the way Maharaj laughs. So what did he mean? He said, he has such a good opportunity to learn tolerance. So that's the Krishna conscious way of processing it. Of course, you want to talk about it, you want to try to resolve it, you don't want to have pent-up emotions. But there's also other ways to deal with it. Okay, this is, Krishna putting me here, something to learn, some reason, my karma, whatever. So that's a more mature way of dealing with it. We could say, yeah, like everything you said is true, but when I was reading it, I was thinking, well, it's not going to play out that way for everybody. So it may be playing that way out for you, and then you want to ask yourself the question, is there a better way I can deal with it? And there may be many better ways, and that's where I would start. I hope that's okay, at least for now. How to react to someone who attacks us verbally on the basis of our race. Oh, feel sorry for them. There's this one head of the Ritviks, and he hates Jewish people. He hates them. He was probably a Nazi in his past life. It's just like, I happen to be Jewish, and he's like, he attacks me all the time. He attacked me because I was friends with somebody. Be careful who you're friends with, because you get attacked for being friends with people. He attacked me for being friends with someone who was having trouble in Krishna consciousness. That was my great fault. So, I don't know. You remember, Katie, you remember my mantra? That's interesting. When something bothers you, you say that's interesting. So, Gurudev, how to react to someone who attacks us verbally on the base of our race? By chanting the mantra. That's interesting. That someone wouldn't like me because I'm Eastern European. It's their problem. And why make their problem your problem? Like sometimes people see devotees and they don't like devotees. So we understand, okay, that's their problem. It's not that I'm going to stop being a devotee, or the problem is that I'm a devotee. Well, in a sense, the problem is I'm a devotee, but being a devotee is not a problem. It's just a problem for them. So you have to kind of see it like that. Right? So why make their problem your problem? Not everyone's going to love you. It's just a fact of life. Katie, if you're American, there would be people who wouldn't like you because they don't like Trump, and then they don't like Americans. So, or for other reasons, they don't like Americans. There are many reasons to not like Americans, and many reasons to like Americans. So what? What does it matter? Right? Hare Krishna. There's a book, Katie, and the name of the book is What Other People Think About Me Is None of My Business. So that's something to meditate on. Now, if it's a senior devotee, that's different. We should care what they think. They're giving us guidance and advice. We should care. But if it's just an ordinary person who's out to attack us or is not a sensitive, caring person, then what they think about me is really none of my business. Your answer regarding racism reminds me of what Srila Prabhupada said to Bhakti Tirtha Swami, the same point. Yeah. You're in the bodily. If you're worried about racism, you're also in the bodily concept. Because the racist person is in the bodily concept. And if you get affected by the racism, you're also in the bodily concept. It was just like when the women asked Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, are women less intelligent? And he said, well, if you think you're a woman, you are less intelligent. So, something like that, yeah. That's more or less what Prabhupada said to Bhakti Tirtha Swami. Bhakti Tirtha Swami said there's prejudice in the movement, but and Prabhupada said, but more or less, well, that's a prejudicial statement also. Oh, material world, it's amazing. It's just like, if you don't get hit on one side, you get hit on the other side. So, yes. You see, the thing is, Katerina. The thing is, Katerina from Romania. Romania, right? Or Romania. Katerina from Romania. The thing is, Katerina from Romania. You have to understand. You're going to get beat up on all sides. That's just where we live. So people are punching you. You have the choice whether you're going to feel the punch or not. And so if you feel all the punches, you're going to be punching. You're going to be one big punched up punching bag. Okay, we're all punching bags, but not all of us feel the punches. We get punched all the time. And sometimes we get punched for no reason at all, just because the people around us are in the punching mood, isn't it? So, but you have the choice how you're going to feel the punch, and you have a choice how you're going to respond to it. So, If you're going to get so upset by every punch, how are you going to live your life? You just go crazy. Right? She knows that. She goes crazy a lot. She gets punched a lot and she goes crazy a lot. Yes. Hare Krishna. You're going to be somebody. Czech Republic. Oh, I thought it was Romania. Czech Republic. Czechoslovakia. Czech Republic. Okay. It's even better. Because I don't like people from Romania. I'm only kidding. Hare Krishna. We have Andrea from Romania. She's amazing. Now I can see your messages. Wow, the gods have showered their blessings. Sometimes I feel that if someone is mistreating, and I will not revenge, they will think their behavior was okay, and they will mistreat others in the same way. It's true. But revenge is in the mode of ignorance. So, you can create boundaries. You don't have to take revenge. There's always sattvic, here's the point, there's sattvic ways to deal with it. So, what you're all saying is true. You don't want to be someone's punching bag eternally, because if you allow them to punch, they keep punching. But there's sattvic ways, Krishna conscious ways to deal with it, rather than take revenge. Because Krishna Karshani revenge does not exist within the heart of a Vaishnava. So he takes action. Okay, here's the PC. I'm going to say this in the PC way. He takes action to create proper boundaries so that he will not be abused. That's what he does. But he doesn't take revenge. He creates boundaries. He can let the person know that your behavior it's not helping me, it's actually hurting me, and I don't appreciate it, and I please ask you to stop dealing with me that way. That's not revenge, that's creating boundaries. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not denying what you're saying, I'm not denying what Davina is saying. But there are more Krishna conscious ways of dealing with it. And when you deal with something in passionate ignorance, it always has a bad result. And you do something in sattva guna, it always has a good result. Sattva, sattva. That's why we created the company, Sattva and the Sattva way, because the Sattva way is the way. Of course, the way is Vishuddha Sattva. Right? Yes? And I'm not a Vaishnava, that's why I pay back. That's a good one. What did you do? Why did you punch him in the nose, Prabhu? Because temporarily I was not a Vaishnava. But I'm a Vaishnava again now. Let's take prasad. I had a temporary lapse in Vaishnavism while I was punching him in the nose. But now it's okay. And because I wasn't a Vaishnava for the last 10 minutes, it was okay to punch him in the nose. Yeah. Yeah, so, of course, we should think like that. If I don't act like a Vaishnava, then I should see, okay, I'm not acting like a Vaishnava. I need to learn to act like a Vaishnava. There's always good ways to do things and bad ways to do things. Right? Yes? There's always better ways to do them. Like, my wife teaches a class on the 6 human needs. And these are human needs that we all have. And in the class, she teaches that there are healthy ways to fulfill those needs, and there are unhealthy ways to fulfill them. So, there's always healthy and unhealthy ways to do all kinds of things, isn't it? So, I'm not denying that people will punch you, but there's healthier ways to deal with it and unhealthy ways. And the unhealthy ways you'll always regret, and they'll always degrade you and the people around you. Right? Gurudev, can you elaborate more on the boundaries? I think I just did, and how they practically apply them. By talking and not punching. Yeah, I think I just elaborated on the boundaries. Let's say someone is heavy with you. Katarina from Czechoslovakia. Katarina from Czechoslovakia. Someone's heavy with you, hard on you. And you can say, I know you're trying to help me and I know you're trying to inspire me, but if you were more gentle, or if you said it this way, or you treated me this way, that would actually inspire me. But when you criticize me heavily, it doesn't help me. It's hard for me. Something like that. So I would just ask that you be, conscious of that. That I don't learn so well that way. Of course, the person could say, "Well, you're puffed up" or whatever. That's always there. But you try to communicate it and say, if you want to correct me, then I would appreciate it if you did it this way. You just write me a little note and say, what I did wrong or something like that. It's creating a boundary, or whatever you want to say creates a boundary. Is that okay? And better be okay, because time's up. The time is up. The fun is over. And I get to turn back on the air conditioning and come back to life. You want to sing a song before we go? Should we sing something? The two lines that I remember from my song, that I don't know how to play, only the two lines. If I sang 1,000 songs, maybe I could tell you. If I wrote 1,000 poems, maybe I could spell it out, how much you mean to me. No, maybe it goes like this. Try that again. If I wrote 1,000 poems, if I wrote 1,000 poems, maybe I could spell it out, how much you mean to me, how much you mean to me. If I met 1,000 saints, maybe I could find some more. If I searched every holy place, maybe I could meet that one who, what's the next line? I don't even know. Who can give me Krishna like you? Who could love me like you? The sun turned cold. The sun turned cold as the night. They turned dark at the night. Anyway, I need to practice before I do these shows so I can sing you the original melody of Shishastakam. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll do 2 verses. Without you, Lord, a moment feels like a million years, and tears are falling from my eyes just like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world without you, Lord. Feeling all vacant in the world without you, Lord. I'm feeling all vacant in the world without you, Lord. I'm feeling all vacant in the world without you, Lord. Without you, Lord. Then we'll do the next one. When will my choke? When will my hair stand on end? At the recitation of your holy name, at the recitation of your holy name, at the recitation of your holy name, the recitation of your holy name, holy name. But there's one thing you always have to remember wherever you go. Radharani, 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 Radhe Radhe. Everyone, Radharani, 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 Radhe Radhe, Radharani, 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 Radhe Radhe. Everybody. Radha Rani, Radha Rani, Radha Rani, Radhe Radhe. Oh, Radha Rani, Radha Rani, Radha Rani, Radhe Radhe. One more time. Radha Rani, Radha Rani, Radha Rani, oh, Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe, 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 Radhe Radhe. Everybody. Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe. One more time. Radha Rani, Radha Rani, Radha Rani, oh, Radhe Radhe, oh, Radha Rani, Radha Rani, oh, Radha Rani. Srimati Radharani Ki Jai. Jai Gaur Premananda. Such a beautiful song. We can never chant that name enough. Today I did my final recording of the Rasa Leela with background music. Soon to be released. I have to edit it. But it's beautiful. Beautiful. And you will see it soon. Or sooner or later. Hare Krishna. Radhe, 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 Radhe. Sham.